Welcome to the Get Out There and Get Known podcast. Join Pam Perry, veteran PR strategist, Emmy award-winning producer and publisher of Speakers Magazine, who will show you how to crack the code in getting out there to get known. Each week, she either interviews her media friends, PR colleagues, or she just goes solo, offering you strategies on publicity, publishing, and platform building. So listen up to hear how to get booked on media places and on superstar stages. Now, here's your host, Pam Perry.
Hey, this is Pam Perry, and I am here today to talk about going into 2022. All right, going into 2022, and there's been a lot of changes going on. So we want to talk about what are some 22 ways where you can get out there and get known, right? So I'm a publicist OG from way back and about 25 plus years or so. And I really wanted to make you not feel so overwhelmed about all the different choices that we have to market ourselves and to get out there and get known. And so I'm trying to get this Facebook Live going here. And so one of the main things that I want to say is that don't get overwhelmed by it. All right. And in order to get out there and get known with your message, with your brand, and making sure that you're seen by the right people, I'm going to give you 22 tips that are tried and true. It's not TikTok. It's not real. It is it's some of the things that hey Cynthia, how are you? Welcome. Get out there, get known. There you go. So the first thing, more so than anything, if you want to get out there and get known, is word of mouth. So you have to have obviously a stellar product. You have to be deliver on your promises, and you need to have people who know, like, and trust you to refer you, right? To refer you. Word of mouth is the best form of advertising. You hear that all the time. When someone gives a unsolicited, say, hey, you really need to try this restaurant, or you need to see this movie, or you need to read this book, and it's unsolicited, that's when you know it is really like the deal. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, never going away. I've been doing these type of seminars. Never going away is email marketing. Right? Even though there's a lot of social media, a lot of stuff going on in the DMs, if you are proficient and consistent and creative with your email marketing, not e-blast, but email marketing, I'm telling you, you're going to really, really stay ahead of the curve. You'll get out there and get known. The other part I'll talk about of how to get people on your email list, because you don't want to violate spam laws. So you do want to make sure that you are using email marketing properly. What I use is on my website, pamperrypr.com/products. You'll see I use Active Campaign, but there's other ones as well. People use MailChimp, people use Aweber, people even use Constant Contact, but work with what you have right now, but do it consistently. That's number two. Number three, very simple. Something like a gift or a specialty item. We call them trinkets or we call them premiums, but that is one of the ways, and you've seen it where people will have masks. We're in the year of masking. So people will have their logo and maybe their tagline on a mask, or it could be something like a coffee mug, or it could be sunglasses. These aren't sunglasses, but things that have your name and logo on them. That's a way to get out there and get known. Don't discount that, especially the end of the year. Sometimes people are sending off gifts, and when you send out gifts, sometimes you'll have your logo on it. It could be a notepad, it can be a calendar. Calendars are great things to do. Speakers Magazine did a calendar at the beginning of 2019 and going into 2020. So calendars are great because you see that all year long. So making sure that you're doing gifts or specialty items, those are really, really good to get out there and get known, and then give them away freely. Post-it notes, things that people use all the time, right? Coffee mugs, those are great. The other thing is podcasting. Ta-da! That's why I'm doing Get Out There, Get Known. I'm on episode number 62 or 63 about right now. And it is a way where people say, I love your podcast. Now, it may not be millions of downloads, but it does a purpose because it's a very niche podcast, and it's for people that want to know about PR, marketing, and branding. from a speaker's perspective, and primarily African American. And so the niche is smaller and smaller, but it does turn into clients and customers, which is the point. The Ready, Set, Go Speak program, which is the first level of a program of working with me, is one of the ones where I have a lot of people in that program from this podcast, because this podcast is brought to you by ReadySetGoSpeak.com. The other thing that was number 4. So number 5, I talk about this all the time. If you are a speaker and you have a message to share with the world, you need to write columns in newspapers, columns in your local newspaper, African American newspaper, but write a column on your specialty. That will position you as an expert. And so, it's just like writing on your blog, only is putting it in a newspaper. It could be your business publication, it can be your trade association, but writing a column in publications is so very, very key. And number 5, publishing your own newsletter or your own e-zine. On LinkedIn, I do a newsletter, which is this podcast in the show notes. So I do that, but you can also do it. I got a great newsletter today. I think it was Black Culture or something like that. Dave, I can't remember its last name, but it was a lot of news that was curated. And it was in one newsletter, and it talked about CeCe Winans was coming to sing, and it had a lot of different things about Black culture in it that I found it very interesting. They don't send it every day. They send it once a month, but I really appreciated that newsletter. So email newsletters, or e-zines, they call them. You can physically do a physical newsletter as well. That's popular, especially if you have a small niche of who you want to send it to. I would suggest doing that, especially if you're B2B. I would say business to business. That would be a great one. The other thing that is probably people used to do telemarketing, now they're doing texting. So text marketing is a great way. If you're speaking, you're a speaker, and you ask people for their email, not their email. So, okay. So this is how it goes. You're speaking from the stage, or you're speaking on Zoom, or you're speaking at a webinar, and you want people to download your free gift. Instead of them going to your email, possibly ask them to text a certain word to a number. That number will then alert your text marketing system that they have opted in, and then you can send regular text messages to them. Don't overwhelm them, though. That's the thing, because I have opted into some text messages, and then they become very annoying. So don't be annoying if you want to get out there and get known. That's the main thing. Don't get annoying. The other thing that you want to do it's not going away, is radio and TV spots. So radio spots are very inexpensive, and TV spots, even if you do it cable in your area, are very inexpensive to do. We spend so much time in social media that we forget the traditional media. So doing radio or advertising, television advertising, those are very good, especially if one of my branding accelerators, she's a voiceover artist. She does a lot of voiceovers. She did the Wayfair commercials. She does different things for different banks. Yolanda Spearman is her name, so you can look her up, yolandavo.com. She can do a voiceover for you for a radio spot, and they can run. Obviously, radio now is on iHeartRadio, so the spot will be run there as well. So you want to make sure you're doing things like that, and television spots as well. We spend so much time on TikTok and Reels. Spend a little time on some really like a 30-second TV spot, and then have that run maybe on the fringe times or things like that. And you just never know. They may have some really good deals for you for that in your local area. So that also leads to, definitely, if you're a speaker and you're an author, people need to hear your voice. They need to hear your message. Doing YouTube, I'm on YouTube Live right now. Cynthia's over there. Lives are good. IG Lives are fine. LinkedIn Live, that's what I'm using right now. I'm using that. And then also, too, you want to make sure that you're doing webinars, you're doing Zoom, you're inviting your list from your email marketing to join you on that. So those are some of the main things, too, that you want to do that. And if you are going to be on a Zoom, you want to have your branding there. On this particular StreamYard, I have the banner there. Get out there, get known. Host Dr. Pam Perry. You see the scrolling at the bottom. There are different things like that you want to make sure that you're doing. If you don't have all that, put on a t-shirt with your logo on it or something, but brand something. This is the age where we're branding things. So if you're doing video, make sure your background is together. Maybe your outfit is together, that it matches what it is that you're doing. Number 11 is never going away, is direct mail of postcards. I am a big proponent of mailing postcards. You can mail a postcard as large as this. You can mail a postcard that is regular small size, something like this. But mailing postcards, and you can get 1,000 for like $200, right? So you want to make sure you're mailing the postcards. Or if you are a client of mine, sometimes when we are mailing out our Speakers Magazine subscriptions, we put postcards in there with the subscriptions. So it can be like your little mini one sheet on a postcard, right? And you mail it out and say, now booking for 2022. Right. So those are some of the things of the perks of being part of the Branding Accelerator, because they can always put in their materials in when we are doing a mailing for the subscriptions for Speakers Magazine. Yay! The other thing too, the direct mail, because we get so much email, when you get something in the mail, it does stand out, right? So you do want to make sure that you're standing out. You want to get out there, get known. You want to do things that stand out. And you can do a postcard mailing once a quarter, once a month, but making sure that there's a call to action on the postcard, meaning that you're driving people back to a website so that they can, stay in contact with you, or that you send them to a particular page, or you put a QR code on there and you can send them to a video. So anyway, postcards are great, especially if you are an author. Okay, an author, because people who are authors, they do need to have a little bit more physical things for people to really say, and then maybe people can take that to the bookstore and go on Amazon and buy your book. So you want to have your book cover there, your little bio, your info. That's really, really good. That's number 11. Number 12 is business cards or email signatures. So they're one of these same. So we're getting back out here. We're getting out here in these streets, and people are meeting each other. And sometimes they'll say, hey, let me have a business card. And they're really just checking to see if you have one. Sometimes they're checking to see how upscale it is. So you want to make sure that it is coming correct. Or make sure on your email signature that it's not raggedy, that it's not like a War and Peace novel either. You don't want it too long. So you want to make sure your picture is there, maybe your call to action, maybe your podcast link, definitely your social media link. So you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward when someone first comes into contact with you. Your business card is that, and your email signature at the end. Every time you send out an email or reply to an email, that your email signature is down at the bottom with your website, your phone number, sometimes your address. My address is on the bottom of mine. So if you send me an email at pam@pamperrypr.com and I reply, you'll see it has my business address, my phone number. I hate that when people don't put their phone number on there because I'm trying to call them. All of the social, the email, and then also too regarding the membership program for Ready, Set, Go Speak. That is number 12. Number 13, lucky number 13 is banner ads and banners, period, and billboards. So banner ads are like the billboard electronically. So say, for instance, we're on the Boss Network, right? You buy a banner ad there. The Boss Network, they have banner ads. Or you can have your banner, where you're speaking somewhere live and you have your banner. And then also too, you want to make sure that you have maybe you're going to get a billboard. Billboards aren't as expensive as they used to be. People's like, oh, I can't get a billboard. People are getting these New York Times billboards and that sort of thing. And they're electronic billboards, and they're up there for so many seconds and they rotate around. That might be a good way to get out there and get known. If you tried a whole lot of different things and never tried a billboard, whether it's electronic or it is on a website, or it is your pull-up banner or a banner in the back, that is one of the ways to brand like a superstar. You have your own branding. So that's one of the key things too. The other thing, this is just kind of like I guess you would say a 13A, is a tablecloth. So if you're going to go to different events, you're going to have a room, and you're going to be speaking at a particular place, and they say, well, would you like a table at the back of the room? And you say, yes, I would like a table. So instead of a plain white tablecloth that they're going to give you, bring your own tablecloth, brand it out, look professional, bring your banners. Just, for me, I like blinging things all out. I like blinging things. These are some of the things that I have that are blingy. So things that are blingy are really cool for me. Thank you, Sia, for my magic wand. So those are some of the main things that you want to do. The other thing that you want to do, this is number 14. This is number 14 because that was 13A. So number 14 is letters to the editor, right? Letters to the editor are very, very important because it lets you be known to the major publications, and they know that you're listening, and they know your expertise, and you get actually pubs. So I have had letters to the editor published in USA Today. I have had letters to the in our dailies for sure. But they're really a way for you to position yourself as an expert in the field and you have an opinion about that. So you want to make sure that you're doing letters to the editor. All you have to do, whatever daily or weekly that you want to have a letter to, go to the website, look for the editor, and then they typically always have their email. And they will tell you the requirements, 250 words, 350 words, what's required on that. So letters to the editor are a really great way to rise to the top, to get out there and get known. That's number 14. Number 15, again, magazine and feature articles. You have to do that. Speakers Magazine. We have people that write for Speakers Magazine. Sierra Black writes for Speakers Magazine, and it's built her business. So writing on a regular basis is really important in your niche market where you want to be known. So you want to write feature articles for magazines. You know, it could be Inc., it could be Entrepreneur, it could be Essence. You have to query them, about what your topic is, and then submit it. Because when you query them, you tell them exactly how many words, who your sources are going to be, why you. It's a whole. I'll probably do one whole podcast about how to query for magazine and feature articles. The other thing is you want to sponsor something. So this is number 16. Actually, yeah, this is number 16. So you want to sponsor different events. You may want to sponsor, say, a high school game. You may want to sponsor a book drive. You may want to sponsor something at a charity event, but you want to sponsor NAACP, Congressional Black Caucus, NABJ. You're a sponsor, meaning that you will either put in an ad in their book, or you could have a banner there at their event, but you want to sponsor. So for places where your ideal customer will be, think about sponsoring it. It could be an event, it could be a virtual event even. So you want to do that, because if it's a virtual event, possibly what they'll do is maybe put their logo at the beginning or the end. Those are the kind of things. So you want to stand out from the crowd. You want to get out there and get known. So put yourself out there and put your thinking cap on and say, hey, my audience is here. How do I get in front of them? Why don't I sponsor? So those are really, really good things. Number 17 is you can do so well with just your bio. So have a banging bio in 2022. Quit with these boring bios. Have a banging bio. All right. If you had a bio, it can really set you apart from so many different people. And then put that bio everywhere. Put it on your one sheet. Put it on your LinkedIn profile. Put it, uh, you know, definitely on your website. But having that bio and a great photo can go so far, because now when you're pitching yourself, they say, sure, send me a bio and a photo, and it's bang. It's like, wow, okay. So you want to make sure that you're going to upgrade in 2022 with your bio and your photo, okay? The other thing too, when this is kind of like 16, I guess this is probably like part of 15 and a half. But when I talk about letters to the editor, also making sure that you send letters to or write columns for your area college newspapers, especially if you're in a big college town. So the big college town, if Michigan State, U of M, Wayne State, they have dailies. They have daily newspapers where they're online. And so don't discount that particular audience, because those daily newspapers are very viable and people read them. The other thing is getting awards and nomination yourself awards. So I get a lot of awards. People honor me with awards. It was really a blessing. Got an honorary doctorate this year. So that was a blessing, but I didn't apply for it. But you can. That's not to say that you can. If you're under 40, there's a whole lot of 40 under 40 places where you can go and make sure. And now is the time to really do it. At the end of the year, they're looking for the next upcoming year for their honorees. So make sure that you're in position to do that and look for different awards. I think Success Magazine had some, and SpeakerCon will be having one coming up. So you want to make sure that when you do get the awards, that you put out a press release and let people know, and you leverage that opportunity once you get it. Press kits, definitely update your press kit. Don't just do the press kit once and forget it. It's always to be updated. It's to add new information to your press kit, where you've spoken, what media you've had, put those links in there, update your press kit, keep it vibrant, keep it going. It's not just a one and done. Op-eds, opinion editorials are a little bit different from letters to the editor, because the letter to the editor is really response to something that the newspaper is written about or writing about. An op-ed is something that you may want to uh, really target about what your area is and what you're a thought leader in. So opinion editorials are really, really good to make sure that it's positioning you as a thought leader. That was number, okay, so that was number 20. I'm thinking I'm missing here. So 21, I talked about press releases. So there's a traditional press release where you write it and you send it to the media, but then there's also too what they call SEO press releases. I use PR Newswire, so you can use PR Newswire where it goes on uh, to the outlets for you, where you're not sending it individually, but you pick the what areas where you want your press release to go, and it'll go on their wire. So PR Newswire is one. Black PR is another one as well. It'll go out to the Black media. So those are the two that I use a lot. You want to make sure that you're doing a regular press release in 2022 at the very minimum once a month. Once a month, yeah. And it helps with your SEO, and it also helps you understand what that for the news media to know that you're a source, that you're available, that you would like to talk to the media. So once a month, do a press release. It doesn't have to be a dissertation. It could be one page, but it could be something that's new, something around a holiday. It could be around a calendar. There's so many things. I help people brainstorm what kind of press releases to write. So if that's something that you really want to figure out, like, okay, I need a press release scheduled, then I need to, sit down with Pam and just brainstorm what I need to do. Then you can go to pamperrypr.com and actually send me a note there, and we can have a conversation about that. And then the last one, because if you do a press release, let me tell you this, you become a source of information to the media. They see you as a person that is savvy, all right, that you're standing out above the crowd. There's nothing wrong I didn't mention anything about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Reels. I didn't mention any of that. It's just like that's just part of what everybody's doing. So I'm just trying to show different things that you can do in 2022 that people have done, but they're not doing anymore because all the crowd is going this way. So you go the opposite, all right? You go a little bit different. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is the website. Yes. So get out there, get known. You can be found on your website. There's so many wrong websites. And I always say use WordPress website and make sure you have good hosting. Make sure the speed is right. Make sure you have an opt-in. Make sure you're building a list. Make sure that there's a media page there. Make sure their forms are there. Make it so that it is a business that is automated for you. Advantage Communications is my company that is a communications company I'm vice president of development of, and that's an advertising agency. So their website is different from Pam Perry PR, which is more driven towards Pam Perry PR, personality brand. So you have to see what type of website that you need to set up, but they should all be have an intention. They should have a strategy before you start throwing your website up there. It's not just all about pictures, okay? Website is not about pictures. It's really about the functionality of it and the SEO, because you can build a beautiful website, but if nobody finds it, it's a waste of money, waste of time. So you want to make sure you're doing that. I'll probably talk about websites more in 2022 because that's so important, because I find that a lot of speakers, they have these whack websites, and it's just and then people hear them speak and they love them, and then they go to their website and then they're turned off, and it's like, ooh, I don't know about them. If they can't get their website together, I don't know if they can really pull off what I'm trying to ask them to do. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. Also too, when you're doing some things as well, one of the things that, and I'll do a particular podcast about this as well, about hosting your own signature event. Hosting your own signature event, and then you will do all these other things as well. You'll be doing the email marketing, you'll be doing the telemarketing, you'll be in the radio spots, you'll be doing because then don't do the signature event until you really understand all the other marketing, because once you do your signature event, you have to do all the other marketings that we talked about as well. You got the t-shirts, you got the book. It's just a whole lot. So don't do that first. Do the other things first. Doing something simple is being real regular on a podcast and easy. How about that? Let's start with that. So whatever you do, be consistent, making sure that your branding is always clear, that you stay on point, that you never ever make people confused. It's like, do they do that? I thought they did that. Now I don't know what they do. And then you've lost momentum, because now you have to start all over again, because now you've got to build a new tribe, because the people that were following you stop following you because you were off brand. So you want to make sure. So become a source of information to the media, local radio stations, local TV stations, newspapers. I love magazines as well. And also to making sure that you have a banging bio in 2022 and a new headshot. Because if you don't have that, you can't, don't hide. Don't hide in 2022. You have to get out there and get known. Doing lives, Zooms, webinars, joint venturing with people, creating synergy is very important. So obviously I said this was going to be short, and it's about the same length as my other podcast when I have a guest, but I love talking about this. It was just a few of the things that I wanted to make sure that you do. When you do email marketing, make sure if you do have a video or a podcast that you embed that into your email. So a lot of these overlap. Marketing is what I do, is what I love. So if you have any questions or comments, please go to pamperrypr.com. And then also to make sure that you check out Speakers Magazine if you're a speaker, speakersmagazine.com. And then if you want to be a part of a membership, you can be a part of that on Ready, Set, Go, Speak. So that is it for 2021. We will see you over on the 2022. And just know that it's going to be great. Proclaim it, declare it, and expect it. That is really the real deal. So with that, I am Pam Perry, and Dr. Pam Perry in 2021. So we will see you on the next show. God bless you. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to leave a review.
You've been listening to the Get Out There and Get Known podcast, brought to you by PamPerryPR.com, where you'll get insider tips on how to build your platform, pitch the media, and promote yourself with confidence. Head over to PamPerryPR.com and get the exclusive video training on the 7 must-have marketing materials you need before you pitch in order to be considered in media places or superstar stages. PamPerryPR.com, where you help you shine like